Okay, I want to go over a couple of the items where my students are going to have to use inverse operations. This is going to be an activity they're going to have to complete at home as homework, and I want to make sure that before they leave me, they really understand what we're doing. And if they don't fully understand what we're doing, when they're home working on their homework, they can go to our YouTube channel and watch this video to get the gist of how to do this type of problem. Our directions say, use the equation to answer each question.
Trina
Now,
Carroll, come to the office, please.
when I look at number 8 and I see this, it says 15 equals 300 divided by 20.
Following students come to the office going home: Sky Bird, Samantha Riley, Cadence Chandler, Dylan Gay, Ethan and Aiden Day, Allie Smith, Alyssa Price, and Dakota Marshall.
Okay, when I look at this, it gives me some questions that I can answer, and I'm going to actually do 8 and 9 with my students because after we go through these questions, they'll understand better what it means to use inverse operations. All right, A says, what is the operation in this equation? And when you look at it, you have this division sign, so we know that division is the operation. Now, what is the inverse operation?
Layla Wilder, come to the office going home.
The inverse operation would be multiplication. And C says, how could you rewrite the equation using the inverse operation? You could do it this way. You could say 300 divided by 15, I'm sorry, you got to multiply. Multiplying is what we're doing, so we have to force ourselves to multiply in this problem. So we could say 20 times 15 equals 300.
Tommy Barrett, come to the office going home.
That's required. We want to show the inverse operation, we're going to have to multiply. At first I wanted to say 300 divided by 15 could work, but when it says using the inverse operation, I know that I had to multiply. Let's look at number 9. We have 2 and 7/10, if you can't tell that's a decimal point. 2.7 plus 4 and 8/10, this is also a decimal point, equals 7.5 or 7.5. What is the operation in this equation? Our operation, I see some hands up. What do you think, Morgan?
Addition.
Addition. So we'll write down addition. If multiplication is the inverse of division, what do you think is the inverse of addition, Kiara? Subtraction. Now, when it says C, how could you rewrite the equation using the inverse operation? We're going to have to rewrite it in such a way that we have subtraction going on. And in this situation, you could say 7.5. I'm going to write over here. 7.5 subtract 4.8 equals 2.7. By using the inverse operation, I was compelled to write that way. Now, I could have said 7.5 subtract 2.7 equals 4.8, but I just wanted to just do it that way. Now, this is really, really easy stuff. We got a few items like this, but I want to jump back up now. After we've had a chance to talk about operations, inverse operations, let's look at one of the items that they're going to have to do. And I want to focus on number 1. Here you have 2 and 5/10 B equals 1. First off, what operation, boys and girls, do we have in this equation? What operation do we have? All right, Kyrell. Multiplication. And what are we multiplying?
2.5 times B.
We're saying 2.5 times B. What would be the inverse operation of multiplication, Kyrell?
Division.
Division. Now, here's how inverse operations are going to help us figure out the value of B, that variable. If we have this situation, a way that I can divide here, I would say 2.5 b divided by 2.5, and that's going to cancel those out. So I'm left
So
with
when Marshall
b.
comes to the office going home,
And then 1 is I'm going to have to divide that by 2.5. Now, if I divide 1 by 2.5, what will my quotient be?
attention please, if you receive a food backpack, please exit through the Family Resource Center door on your way to the bus.
Now, I see kids are getting calculators and stuff out. I'm going to do this mentally. If I have 1 divided by 2.5, my answer is going to be, no, it's not going to be 4. If I have 1 and I divide it by 2.5, I'm not going to wind up with 4. Now, if I had 10, yes. If I had 10, I would, but since I don't have 10, I have 1, it's actually going to be 0.4. Those of you with calculators, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that's how you could do the inverse operation to find the value of your variable. Let's look at another one. Let's look at number 2. Okay, here we have k subtract 29 equals 0. What is our operation in that equation? All right, Brandon Neely.
That would be subtraction.
All right, that's subtraction. What is the inverse operation of subtraction? All right, Madison.
Addition.
Addition. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add 29, and they'll cancel those out, and I'll add 29 here. And then that's going to leave me with k equals, oh, what's 0 plus 29? 29. So that inverse operation helped me figure out the value of k. Now, boys and girls, you've seen a few examples. How many of you feel fairly confident that you can do a good job on this tonight?
Kindergarten students are dismissed.
Okay, your homework assignment then is to finish this up.